This is Jonathan Kirsting with the Pittsburgh Technology Council and TechVibe Radio with our Fireside Chats. And I absolutely love having these conversations. I get to meet the absolute coolest people that are just making Pittsburgh tick. And something that really gets at my heartstrings is when I see technology being deployed, that at the end of the game of using it actually helps human beings. And that's exactly what Monica Fletcher is doing at Auberle. And Monica, I'm so excited to talk to you today because you're doing so many things to just really just make this business run tighter, this nonprofit run tighter, so you can literally help more people across so many things, whether it's housing, education, finding a job, behavioral health, all these really important things. And Auberle is also near and dear to my heart as well, too, because you guys are in McKeesport.
We are. We are.
I love McKeesport. I worked at the Daily News for a little bit. And so over time, when you guys ever from McKeesport, I'm like, oh, you're so in. So thanks for being here. I cannot wait to learn more. Like, who is Monica Fletcher?
Yeah. Well, I grew up actually not too far from here.
Okay.
So I am somewhat of a native Pittsburgher. And with that, just career background, I've been in research and strategy, data analysis, been in those fields for quite some time.
Yeah.
And when Auberle was looking for somebody to lead strategy, that was really appealing to me to see a human services organization that was focused on strategy. So it's a really special place to be. So when I saw that that was the direction they were going in, I had to apply.
Okay, you start seeing some stars aligning because you're like, wait a second, I'm all about strategy and data management, and I'm also about these nonprofits that are out to help people. That's what I love. I mean, you're really living your passion, and you're getting the left brain and the right brain together on this, I guess, for lack of a better term, right?
Yeah,
that's
for sure.
Awesome. And how long have you been in the position for now?
So now I've been there for 2 years.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And you were just promoted to Chief Administrative Officer, right?
That's right. I came in as the Director of Strategic Initiatives.
Okay.
And then was promoted in December.
Well, you must be doing something right.
Yes.
That's
I'm
awesome.
trying my best,
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Obviously, I can see your passion for this, and I think that's just awesome. And that has so much to do with just obviously driving success because you're bringing some positive vibes and you're just spreading that to everybody there. So that's super cool. And maybe tell me more about what Auberle does. I mean, there's some really deep work you guys have been doing. I mean, I was on your website checking through it. And I actually remember you guys when I was at the Daily News. I mean, you guys were founded in the 50s. You're really a staple of McKeesport's community in so many ways. And tell us some of the cool things that Auberle does do.
Auberle is doing amazing things. So let me first tell you. So Auberle is a 75-year-old human services organization. Auberle started out as an orphanage. So it's
back up, really? Oh my goodness.
Yes, I don't know that you knew that. I mean, a lot of people don't. Yeah, it started out as an orphanage. And it has grown and evolved over those 75 years to where we are today. And where we are today is we really focus on holistic, whole person services. Yeah. So we're looking at, somebody may come to us through our employment institute, right? But they still may need supports through behavioral health. They may need supports through other mechanisms. We have a foster care agency. We provide services for young adults who are aging out of foster care or have housing instability. We support people through their housing, getting them housing stabilized. So we really meet people where they are, and then we partner with them to help them get where they want to go. So all of those various needs, we're there to serve.
And these are foundational needs too. These are the types of things that many of us just take for granted as far as that is. And so the idea that someone can come in there, especially I think about someone who's aging out of foster care and they're going to be on their own. How do they make that transition? I mean, they've been living a pretty rough existence if you've been living in foster care. The idea there's an organization out there like Auberle, is so important to me. So I see where your passion comes from on this. And so I think about all the technical specs that you're bringing to this are going to be so important because I think you're going to be able to enable the staff at Auberle to better help these people and provide more time and services for them because they're not going to be doing so many repetitive things. And if
definitely.
So.
Keep in mind, people over paper, right? We want to move away from these burdens of, paper and getting, wet signatures and all the things that we can do digitally that make this whole process easier. It's still needed. We still have to go through a lot of these processes. But if we can put people at the front of that rather than the paperwork and those things that really create a lot of friction and slow down the process, this gives the employees more time to be frontline with those that they're serving. So those program participants, clients, whomever they're working with, now they have more time to devote to that, building those relationships and really helping people
So the staff has to be really excited about what you're doing in this, because I feel like you have a very dedicated staff. I feel like you probably have a lot of folks that have been there for like decades.
Yes.
Because they really care about it. They see the impact of it and everything like that.
Yeah.
So is that what you're sensing?
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
I mean, just to your point about
Yeah.
longevity, our CEO has been there for 36 years.
Oh my
Not in the
goodness.
CEO role,
But
but
yeah,
she's built her
but
entire
part of that
career
organization
there.
around that. Okay.
Yeah, and there are other people within the agency. It's the same thing. Some people have been case managers for 20, 30 years because they love the work, and Auberle is extremely supportive of employees. So we do see a lot of longevity, which is, yeah, it really supports the work that we're doing.
Very cool.
And
I love hearing that. That is fantastic. So maybe we can just jump into some of the things that you're actually doing around being able to restructure and just figure out ways to bring efficiencies into a nonprofit. And I think something that we can also talk about that I think is just so important is that you don't often see a nonprofit being able to invest.
Yeah.
A lot of times they see it as overhead. So you're trying to find ways to cut in some ways, because we all know what everyone's up against. You're not getting any less clients coming in, and there's not always more money coming in. People are like, well, we can cut the tech first and stuff like that. But you're actually, I think, which is great, you're making a strategic decision to invest in technology so you can better empower your workers and make their jobs, I guess, more automated in ways that allows them to spend their time as a human being helping people, not filling out paperwork and all the stuff that we love doing at the end of the day, right? I'm like filling out a stack of forms when, you've had 8 hours of helping, a group of people and so forth. So yeah, jump into some of that with me, please.
we really want to take away that burden. And so what we're doing right now is we've gone through, and we're still in the process of it, but we're meeting with each team. So each program, sitting down, we call them our data strategy meetings. So it's about two things. One is, what are the processes that are causing friction, and how can we identify both an efficiency there, but a way of data collection that will allow us to move in a direction that allows us to make more informed decisions. So it's really combining those two pieces that we're looking at right now. So we've started digitizing. We're going to do that. We'll go one by one with each program, go through what their processes are, and then identify where can we reduce the friction.
Absolutely.
Where are the friction points? Where's the frustration? And technology first. So that's kind of the motto that we've been looking at is,
love it.
Going tech first. It's not tech only. It doesn't replace the human work.
Exactly.
This is human services.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, it is. We are the epitome of what it is.
Well, they are working really hard on these robots these days.
It's true.
But I'm still going to bet on the human being first.
It's not going to take the place of a good conversation.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So we want people out there having those conversations. And so, so we're looking at, we started that process of digitization, and talking about the outcome is way more exciting than the process to get there. But the process to get there is, it's something that takes time and investment, both from the program, from our technologies, people that are specialized in the technology. And it's a very hopeful process because we know we're moving in that direction.
Moving in that direction. And so, what I'm curious, I feel like you're having like therapy sessions with all these different groups of staff, because I'm sure they have to be very excited about the fact that there's this investment being made in order to help them be better at their job and everything like that. But also there's sometimes a fear of technology as well too. But I feel like the way you're leading on this, you're leading really hard in that this is here to be a tool for you, not something that's going to replace you. Because we don't want that happening.
That's right. And there is a lot of conversation just globally, right? About what the AI is a replacement and things like that. And so it's really important that we as an agency are communicating what is our position to make sure that people understand we're using technology to support your work. We know people aren't going away. This is people, forward work. This is people first work.
Oh, 100%. That's why when I kicked this thing off, I was just really excited to talk about how the technology is going to do this. But I have so many questions. I want to order these in the right way. And in my mind, I keep going to, first and foremost, you have to be finding some pretty surprising things as you're working with these folks, learning what their processes are. And I love when you say talking about finding the friction.
Yeah.
That to me is really cool, because that's the part where you're like, oh, if I do this, it's going to take me 10 minutes. And it's like, that's friction. Is there anything that's popped up that's been kind of like surprising to you at all, or something that you're like, wow, that's crazy and we can solve that?
Right. I mean, really, it's been surprising to just see the volume of it.
I can imagine.
To walk into a room and see the volume of filing cabinets that are full of documentation, and still somebody's putting paperwork into a folder to add to it. And when I think about that, just the volume.
That has to be stifling.
It
oh
is.
my goodness.
Yeah, it is.
And obviously, I mean, this is something that is ongoing right now
Yes.
and everything. But what are some of the tools you're going to be thinking about using, or have you already started implementing some things as you're doing this? How is that coming together?
Yeah. So, I mean, really, we're trying to first use the tools that we have and make sure that we're
Yeah.
maximizing.
Okay.
Everything from our HRS system and the way we're using that. Right now, we're also implementing another tool that'll help us digitize and take digital signatures. So we're
Okay.
working through that. So we're looking at two ways, maximize what we have and then identify what we may need to add.
Interesting. I love this. I'm thinking about like the ways, like with how AI is just simplifying so many things. And I mean, I embrace in some ways, everyone just is. I think if you're not embracing it right now, like there's got to be something wrong with you, or you're just making life hard on yourself as far as this. What I get excited about is that there can be some very simple technology moves that can actually have a really big impact.
Absolutely. And AI is amazing. I mean, right now we use Copilot.
Okay.
We know that Copilot is a closed system for us, so we're able to use that. And it's a great tool to just double check things, put your document in there, ask, is there a best practice I'm missing here? Is there something unclear about it? Make sure that the communications are clear. So it's really great for email.
100%.
They can be really misinterpreted pretty easily. It's great as a tool in that way. And we'll be looking at ways that we can implement those kinds of tools when it comes to case notes and things that people are spending a lot of time on. What could we do more efficiently using AI?
Oh, yeah.
So we will continue to look at that and build how we're using these tools.
Yeah, I get really excited when you mention that, because I think about like a caseworker and how much time they have to spend taking these notes and then doing everything to file them properly. And that probably, I bet you with that being automated, that's probably 15, 20 more minutes that they can actually spend with somebody, getting to know them, giving them more opportunity to interface so they can really figure out how to best help them. And not worry about like, I got to get back to the office and make sure I get all this paperwork filed, right?
And that's what makes it so consequential.
Exactly.
We're talking about human beings getting the support that they need for what they want to accomplish in their lives. That doesn't happen through paperwork.
No. Oh, man. If only it did. Well, we'd already be there as far as that goes. So what are your next steps? Going through this process, or a timeline, when do you hope to what's your next milestone, I guess?
So the next milestone is we have one program that's like the pilot program.
Okay.
So we're starting with that. This is a really incredible program. It's home builders.
Yeah.
So they don't actually build homes. We do have a youth build program that does build home.
Okay.
But does the skills, the building trades skills. But let's go back to home builders. So home builders is a family stabilization program. So when families are in crisis, this team goes in and helps stabilize the family that's going through that crisis.
Yeah.
So really amazing work and really consequential work. And so we're going to start there. And so we've already started the process of taking their forms, digitizing them, and looking at the time savings. It's important to measure. And as I know that Auberle loves to say, we measure everything. We're always looking at data.
Excellent.
And so, of course, we have to include this process and really see what the outcome's going to be as far as how much face time does this allow us to have. So we're going to measure the outcome of this process.
See how cool is that? Because when you measure it, it makes it actionable and it actually shows the result.
Yeah.
And what I get really excited about is that as you do this, I mean, there's so many other organizations like yours out there. You're becoming a leader in best practices and how you can implement technology. And you're doing that in McKeesport, which I think is so cool, man. That's awesome.
McKeesport.
I do not, man. It's a great little town.
It is. And I mean, we just have amazing staff, dedicated, just great leadership, great staff. I mean, it's all of the right pieces are there to make this work.
Yeah. So obviously you get very fired up to come to work every day. I can see it because you're solving these problems and you're seeing the results and you're already well underway with it. And I mean, what would be success for you in some of these cases? Any metrics that you could see in your head or thoughts of being like, wow, that really worked?
Yeah, definitely. Well, the data piece, right?
Yeah.
Data speaks to me. And so certainly looking at how much more face time our team members can get with their program participants versus the amount of time they're spending on these other tasks, right? So that's going to be a big measure, is to see that really play out. And that's the kind of outcome I'm looking for. Also job joy, right? Like look at our engagement scores.
Job joy. My God forbid, right?
I don't know that I'll be able to, maybe we'll word it a certain way in the next year or two. But as we're implementing these changes, I'm definitely curious to see what kind of impact it will have on job satisfaction, on engagement.
Do you know how huge that would be? Think about that. I think about obviously I feel like that's not a huge issue for you guys, looking at how long so many of your folks are there. But the idea is, if you lose somebody,
Yeah.
to get somebody in there and to get them trained to the standards, I mean, that's an investment, and that's a cost, and that's a loss.
That's a huge loss.
So
And
being able to do some things up front that just keeps people happy and not so annoyed when they
and we are, human services. It is a difficult.
You're stressed out enough as it is with
So
the
if we
situations that you're being confronted with in order to be helpful, right? Like,
Absolutely. The teammates, they're working in difficult situations. So as much as we can take burden off of them, that's the
that's
goal.
what you want to do. Well, you're taking that burden off, and that to me is very exciting.
We're
You're implementing technology, you're using data and all these things that like private business does, and you're doing that in a nonprofit. And we don't see that very often, which is why it's been so much fun to talk to you today about all this stuff. I'm curious. I mean, it feels like with what you're doing there and what you've done in the past, like you've seen some pretty cool stuff over your career so far. I mean, any kind of key takeaways you can give us, some insights, things that have kind of inspired you over the years to do what you do, to be that person that does embrace the data and make that actionable?
Yeah, that was kind of my early career, going to management consultancies and teaching them how to use data to help make decisions.
Really? Okay.
And
Okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go on.
I was gonna say, so you were like doing data before data was cool, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I like to think of it that way. That makes sense. So before data was what we use it for today. So now I'm really dating myself, but this was in the early 2000s. And so that was how I started my career, was going and having these conversations. And I got really tied deeply into the management consulting world.
Yeah.
And so to be able to have that firsthand experience and seeing how technology was implemented, how, just the business discipline that was used to achieve goals and get results, it's really stuck with me. And to see how that can be adapted to make sure that we're getting the results for the people that we serve, that is exciting to me. So I've seen a lot. I've seen it globally, right? My work wasn't just here. It was all around the world.
Excellent.
And so being able to bring that back,
I love it.
All right, how do I use this to do something really impactful and really good for the people that I want to see, achieve the goals that they have?
So what I'm really curious about, some parallel, I always love some people's lives. Before we hit record on this, I was like, what do you do for fun and stuff like that? And you're like, oh, I've run some ultras. I was like, what, 50? You're like, no, 100. Like, oh my God, like you have run like 100 miles with, in a stretch. And that to me is just awesome. Like, I just think that's okay. And I always feel like, and I'm kind of this way myself too, because I'm a huge cyclist. So much of what I do with my cycling actually goes into my work ethic as well too. Does that inform one another with what you do with your work? And tell me about that.
The endurance that it requires.
Yes, exactly. My love of pain. Yeah, exactly. All the good stuff. Okay.
Because we're talking about all the good things, all of the outcomes. Behind the scenes, you got to have endurance to make this happen.
Okay.
You got to have the right communications. You got to make sure that it's hitting the right note. You've got to readjust. You've got to take the hits when they come. And there are long days, long weekends of work. So it is an endurance event. And I feel like the training and the running of the 100-miler and several other, long running events have trained me well to be able to
Love
endure.
it. Yeah. So you're in it for the long haul.
Yes.
Couldn't resist. Both ways all around. But I think that's so informative. I love hearing that. I feel that same way.
Yeah.
Where I think about sometimes it's like you might think you're down, but you're like, guess what? I still got 70 miles to go, but like I'm gonna feel better in 10 miles. So just keep plugging ahead and and things could change. So that is fantastic. But I enjoyed being able to tell your story today.
I really appreciate the opportunity.
Is the type of stuff where I'm like, man, this is why Pittsburgh is so cool. And McKeesport too.
McKeesport,
We
definitely really cool.
definitely love McKeesport. We've talked about the region here as far as that goes, but really, I'm just wish you continued success.
Thank you.
I feel like you've laid a really strong foundation there.
Absolutely.
You got to keep us in the loop and keep us informed.
Yeah.
All the efficiencies you're going to find.
Keep this conversation going.
Absolutely.
All the good stuff that's happening.
We'll have you back next year and see where you've been.
Be wonderful.
Monica, once again, thank you for being part of this conversation and putting up with my absurdity sometimes. But
it was wonderful.
I just have too much fun asking questions like this for you guys. So great stuff.
Thank you.
Awesome. Hey, in case you forgot, this is Jonathan Kersing with the Pittsburgh Technology Council. I just love telling these stories with the Tech Council, what we love doing, how technology is improving people's lives through so many different industries. Thanks, Monica.
Thank you.